News and Conversation with Nomazibulo Tshanga.
Hello, welcome back to the Leaders in Conversation, a community of C-suite leaders who through a plethora of experience have managed to hone their leadership skills. Today we are having one of our guests named Gadibolae Dihlabi, but I will call her Gadi because I did go to school with her. So welcome Gadi. We are going to have a conversation about leadership, careers and all things corporate. Welcome, Gadi.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
Gadi, you don't mind me calling you Gadi, hey?
No.
Or shall I call you with your full name?
So just for intro, I'm Gadibolae Dihlabi, but you can call me Gadi, yes.
Thank you. Gadi, you are the Managing Director at LPGSA Association of South Africa. So talk to us about what the organization does.
So we are the Liquefied Petroleum Gas Association of South Africa, LPGSA. We are a non-profit organization formed in 1989. We literally deal with all things gas, gas compliance. So what we basically do, we are responsible for the promotion of safety of gas, the promotion of use of gas in the country, but we do that through best practices and through compliance. LPGSA, as we refer to it, is mandated by the Department of Labor to literally safeguard the interest of gas, LPG in particular, in the country. We teach consumers, we teach practitioners, we teach everybody all things about gas in general. And we look after the compliance thereof and the safety. We, like most of our work, is mandated through the pressure equipment regulations, which falls under OSHAC, the Occupational Health and Safety Act. So in a way, we do have a direct line reporting into the Department of Employment and Labor.
Okay.
Though we are also an industry association, we do have our own advocacy and our own lobbying work where we try to influence legislations, safety standards around LPG in particular. And like I said, one of our main core functions is to train LPG practitioners, and those are the installers, the people that comes into your house and do the gas installations. We work with them, we train them, we are mandated to train them through SAQCC gas.
Yeah. So tell me, I'm sure there's been an increase in the gas consumption, or just an increase in usage of gas.
Yes.
Have you seen that increase, or is there any stats that satisfy what I'm thinking, or what is my opinion?
It's not really an opinion, it's a fact, if I may use that word. Has there been a stat? Like I was saying, one of the things we do is permitting. We manage the permitting schemes for cylinders, for appliances, on behalf of the Department of Labor. So every LPG appliances that comes into the country has to be permitted by LPGSA. If it's not permitted by LPGSA, it's illegal.
It's illegal. Okay.
You can't use it in your house. And we have seen a tremendous increase of appliances permits coming through. But at the same time, like I said, with installations of gas, we have seen many people doing gas installations in their homes. I mean, think about it. You cook better with gas. You heat water better with gas. Every South African knows that your gas warms your house better in winter. And we have moved away from that country that use gas only in winter to now throughout the season. I'll tell you what, this December was the busiest December for our practitioners.
Was it not because of load shedding?
It is load shedding. Not thank you load shedding, but thank you load shedding, because our practitioners got a lot of job, and all of a sudden their qualifications became meaningful. And as such, on our side as well, we had to ramp up on compliance, because we don't want the consumers out there who knows nothing to be, target of unscrupulous behavior. But we are very proud as LPGSA that our practitioners always do the right thing, and where they have not done the right thing and they get approached to correct the situation, they are able to listen to us and then go correct the situation.
I cannot wait to start installing gas in my house.
Please do install. There's an array of installers out there that are waiting to help you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that. So talk us through what exactly is your responsibility as the Managing Director at LPG Gas Association?
Can I say I have to steer the ship? So one of our role objective or strategic objective is to grow or to grow the LPG market in the country. Right now, ESCOM is doing that for us very well. Yeah, I may say so. But my biggest role is to develop, to implement, and to monitor the strategies around that growth. And it has to be one that is sustainable. I mean, think about it. We are in a compliance, a very highly regulated environment, and that needs compliance. So that's one of my roles, steering the ship strategically. I do manage a group of young people that are very professional.
Which we are going to get to.
We are going to talk about that. That are, I must say, professional in their work, and they are very technical in their work. And at the same time, I have to manage P&L. Just because we're a non-profit organization doesn't mean P&L can be managed. So we have to manage
its
P&L.
finances, etc.
Its finances. It has to make sense. Remember, we have to do campaigns out there promoting, teaching consumers about LPG. I can't come and say, consumer, I want to charge you for teaching you about the safety of LPG. We teach you about the safety of LPG using the finances that we have, or the funds that we already have in our disposal, from our membership, from other activities that we do, such as training, and with the hope that then that will grow the industry sustainably, and people will understand that gas is safe to use. Not really a dangerous thing, and people will have access to energy, which is something that a lot of South Africans are deprived of.
We actually need to convert my mother, because she still believes that gas is dangerous.
Give me 2 minutes with your mother and I will sort her out. I'll tell you this, up until age 30, I was afraid to use gas. And I grew up in my family using gas, but I was that guy in the house who stands there. And yet my 13-year-old sister would be able to use gas, not me. But at age 30, I said, no way, I'm not going to go another through Cape Town winter again. So, and then I went into the shop and asked to be helped, to be taught about gas, and then they taught me. And then I haven't looked back since.
So tell me, how did you get to occupy such a high-level C-suite role as a managing director of this big association in South Africa, as a young black professional? Just talk us through your career journey.
I was actually approached about this role, and I can tell you for 2 years I threw my tantrum. I didn't want to do it.
And why was that?
Let me get to back. I'll tell you, you'll understand why I didn't want to do it in the first place. But the role started, like my journey, when I look back, it started like 18 years ago when I entered the petroleum industry. And I started in the middle office, where you do all things compliance, risk management. And that's where actually I found my niche. I was an accountant all the other years. And then I really was a miserable accountant. And when I got into the petroleum industry in the middle office functions as a price risk manager or price risk management role, trade controls, I found my role.
Your interest, your passion.
I found my interest, my passion. And I went through different companies within the petroleum industry, dealing mainly with main fuels, your petrol, your diesel, your paraffin, HFO, you name them. But then when I did my last job, my previous job at another association, which was South African Petroleum Industry Association, SAPIA, I then got involved in LPG fully now. And we started working on policies of LPG. And I mean, some of the policies that we have right now, I must say, I'm proud that I was like very instrumental in developing them.
And we are proud that you have been instrumental as a young black professional.
Yes, and when I, through all that hard work, and I will say it was hard work, it was a lot of work that we did as a group, as a team, within SAPIA, within the government spaces. Then the LPG Association, who were part of the work, of course, they said, we are looking for a leader, can you come? And I was like, no. And they go, why? I'm like, no, I don't want to work in that industry. I don't want to work in that association. That's not for me. I love LPG as an energy source, and I will always advocate for it, but I don't want to work there.
Yeah.
And I had my reasons. My reasons were simply because I just felt that it was exclusive to other people.
Yeah.
The association was focusing on exclusively to other people. It had no interest in developing young people. It had no developed in women, black people in general.
So there was a lack of gender inclusivity.
There was a lack of diversity.
Yeah.
In the association, in my views.
Yeah.
And one of the board members said, maybe that's your opportunity to change it. We know you're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
and who else,
maybe he has a point.
if it's not you?
Yeah, and then he has a point. And I started wanting to go into an LPG business myself. And I started seeing the hoops that I have to always cross. I'm like, maybe I must go back to those guys and say, I'll do it. I'll go fix, then I'll go and do my job. And open my own business in LPG. And that's how I ended up in this role. Because I hope I'm going to do it. I want to fix the hurdles so that it's easy for people to enter into the industry.
What type of hurdles are you talking about? Are you referring to?
Obviously, there's hurdles of lack of education for both entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, females, a lack of understanding. Even though I thought I had an understanding of the industry, I don't think I actually quite grasp what the industry is all about.
Yeah.
And then there's obviously the barriers to entry in terms of supply of the product. There's barriers to entry in terms of finances. For everybody, we know that's a lot of businesses there like that, and it's a very capital intensive business
industry. Yeah.
The last thing I needed was to have a hurdle of not understanding the industry, not understanding the compliance requirements. After I went through the barriers of supply, the barriers of finance, and then my business is gonna fail because of what I didn't understand compliance, and that is. I say to my team all the time. Yesterday I said it as well. Remember what is our function. We are not here to kill businesses. We are here to help them comply. And the only way we know how to do is to teach them how to comply. End of story. We can't do anybody favors. We can't do jump and hoops, but we can teach them how to comply. That's our expertise, and that's what we will do, and that's what we'll do best.
Yeah.
And we then go and teach our consumers about safety of LPG, and that's what we do as an organization.
Are there opportunities for young black entrepreneurs in the gas industry?
I do believe there are. I do believe this is one of those industries where small businesses can thrive, can be developed in this. And let me make an example. In the value chain of LPG, you have, I'll use rural areas mainly. I'm from Kwakwa, so I'm always biased towards rural areas.
And advocating for rural areas.
I always advocate for rural areas. And that's where jobs are needed the most. I mean, I had to come to Joburg, to Cape Town to get a job. And that's where jobs are needed the most. And small businesses, we know, can create jobs. And if you have a value chain of LPG, you have your big LPG filling plants.
Yeah.
And then within that, you can actually have small distributors who already distribute, who already sells LPG that's already filled out of this, and then taking it to older women. They can also be people doing LPG appliances maintenance as small businesses. They can do installations as small businesses. And there's the DDG in the DMRE who likes saying, Gadi, when are we gonna create Bucky Boys? And Bucky Boys or wheelbarrow boys are basically people who can easily, with their strength, young people, take LPG from a distribution point, i.e. from a filling plant, to an old grandma sitting who's unable to carry an LPG cylinder all by themselves from one point to the other. And that's why we term them the Bucky Boys or the wheelbarrow boys, because that's the opportunities we see. And that's opportunities we want to create or at least create a conducive space for
them to thrive.
For them to thrive, and LPG can do that.
Is LPG doing that?
At this moment, I don't think we are fully doing that to its full capacity. To its full capacity, but I know we will.
Okay, and I can trust in that. So you've studied BCom, Bachelor of Commerce, yes?
Bachelor of Commerce
Yes.
Accounting.
So talk me through that journey. What you've studied and what was your interest in you choosing to study Bachelor of Commerce?
It was pure coincidence and desperation. I wanted
Did you have a
to-
clear career guidance?
I had a clear career guidance. You know, people can argue that they didn't have funds, they didn't have career guidance. I'm not one of those people.
Yeah.
I had a proper clear career guidance. I wanted to be a journalist from age 12, but I wanted to be a war zone journalist.
Yeah. Yeah. What
And
an interesting.
and I got a
field.
scholarship. That's how well I worked hard for it. I got a scholarship to go and study in Australia to
Yeah.
be a war journalist. But before I went, they wanted us to do a foundation program certificate, which is like a
Pre-entry,
thing,
yeah.
for the year. And throughout, and I mean 18, 19 years old, I realized that I'm not a violent person. I will not survive in a war journalism. I didn't want to do any other journalism except war journalist. And that's when I think I even had a meltdown. I had to go through counseling. Luckily, my scholarship was quite responsible. It was a Australian government scholarship. And I was allowed to change. And the one thing that I could change to was BCom accounting. And I didn't lose my scholarship as a result.
Okay.
And I studied BCom accounting. I'm actually a certified practicing accountant in Australia. I never came back to South Africa to do that. And for at least 5-6 years of my first working life,
Yeah.
I was an accountant, cost accountant, management accountant, and I had good managers, I must say, who realized how miserable I was as an
Yeah.
accountant. And they said, have you thought about looking at other aspects of jobs that you can be good
Tap
at,
into.
you can tap into and everything. And they guided me as much as they can guide, but they also taught me that the final decision is mine, is because I have to live with that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get into the petroleum industry for some reason, oil and gas industry. And I got into the company then, I don't know, BP. And I got into the middle office where I'm dealing with price risk management, governance, and
So quite a number of facets that you can choose from, but within your industry, within your field.
Yeah, they're all linked, trade controls
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
And I found myself. It wasn't far from an accounting study,
Yeah.
but I found myself. I still had to do P&L. I couldn't run away from it in terms of reporting. But the other element where we're talking governance, where we're talking price risk management, interested me so much that I did it pretty much for the past 18 years. But I then started working on strategy as well, where you're introducing regulatory environment, aligning company strategies to regulatory environment, and
So a lot of governance issues.
a lot of governance issues that I started doing, a lot of strategic work that I started doing. And when I went into pure regulatory environment, I will tell you this, I think I'll do well as the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy.
God,
Because
to get for that.
I do know this policies quite well, and I've been lucky enough and privileged enough to be part of their formation.
Yeah.
So so I think for me, that regulatory environment, that controls, that compliance, that governance, that's my space.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. We are going to go to an ad break, and then we're going to come back. And I do want us to talk about your career journey, how you've moved from a graduate to the position that you are in, because our viewers would like to learn more about that. And because they are aspiring C-suite leaders and they want to get to that level of position. So we're going to touch on some of the challenges that you had experienced in corporate, and what lessons did you take from those challenges that you had experienced. This is after the ad break. So tune in for more.
Welcome to Doty Moments, our home for fun, creativity, concept creation, floral design, and all things beautiful. This is a space for our clients to come and talk to us about their event vision, be it a wedding, a party, a corporate event, any event of any kind, really. We play around with ideas here. We laugh. We sometimes have a nice glass of wine or whiskey to keep their creativity coming. Above all else, we've created a space for our clients to relax, visualize their event, and be excited about it. We absolutely love what we do. We are so passionate about creating these beautiful moments for our clients. We are addicted to seeing our clients' happy faces when they step into that moment where their vision has come to life. We live for those moments. True to our name, we still thrive to dote over all of our clients as well as we possibly can. We are Doty Moments.
Welcome back to the Leaders in Conversation. I am still with Gadibolae Dihlabi, the Managing Director of LPGSA Association of South Africa. We were talking about her career, how she got entered into the space, and we are now moving into some of the challenges that she had experienced while she was in corporate, as well as some of the advice that she can give to aspiring C-suite leaders to reach the level that she has reached. So welcome back, Gadi. So talk to me about what can young black women do to get into the space? What is it that they can study, and what career path can they follow when they want to get into the gas industry?
So there are a lot of jobs, I think, different career paths that you can follow. There are technical jobs that you can do in the space. There are, I guess, soft skills jobs, as they
like
call them, the
resources.
humanities that you can do. You just need to know your own path. What is that you want to do in what space? If you work in the technical places, there's perfect engineers, process engineers. Yes, refineries aren't so prevalent anymore, but they're there. But at the same time, globally, I mean, we are no longer confined to working in South Africa, isn't it? Young people need to be reminded that you
global
spread
citizens.
your wings. We are global citizens. You can work anywhere in the world you want, and you can go and work in any refinery, in any gas fields all over the world, and having to study in South Africa, in the engineering space, in all the technical spaces, environmental spaces, so you are not restricted. Even as an accountant, you can work anywhere in the field. I'm talking to somebody in New Zealand. I know that they're looking for like people from accounting space to work in the oil and gas industry in New Zealand. And
so there are opportunities, definitely in South Africa
everywhere
and globally.
in South Africa and globally. So don't restrict yourself. Choose the industry you want to go in. Do you want to go to oil? You want to go to gas? And what it takes to get in there, and go with it, run with it. Plan your career and run with it.
I love that. Plan your career and run with it. I love that. So what are some of the hurdles or challenges that you have encountered as you were climbing the corporate ladder?
Once I found what I wanted to do and made my own plans, plan A, B, C, D, and E, and there was a lot of plans, so that I can keep myself.
Fails, you go to
able
B.
to. Yes, I've been lucky. I haven't gone beyond plan C.
Okay, that's good.
I've stuck to, like, that's the highest plan I've gone to. But I think one of the biggest hurdles that I came through was discrimination. As black people.
For more from Leaders in Conversation with Nomazibulo Tshanga, you can continue listening to the rest of this episode on your audio streaming service app. Our podcast is available on various audio streaming platforms. Details in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.